Welcome to our first edition of Patriot Conversations, brought to you by Raising Cane's. Our first guest and one of my dear friends is DBU basketball alumni Remy Ndiaye. Remy, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Connor. Thank you so much for having me today, and I'm really looking forward to chatting with you and see what's been going on.
Absolutely, man. I've been fired up all day as we plan to jump on this Zoom call. Tell me where you're calling in from today, and why don't you share with us a little bit about what you're doing, where you're at, and with the 76ers.
Right. I'm calling in from Philadelphia, and I've been working with the 76ers since 2017. It's been 3 years now, and right now everything is on hold because of the COVID-19, but we're still home and just trying to figure out what's the next step. But we're also communicating with the coaches and the players, just trying to help them out while they're home. But yeah, the weather's been nice. Philadelphia's been great since I've been here, and made some friends, and I love it here. I love it.
That's awesome. Well, we're so proud of you. I mean, just to share a little bit about Remy's career at DBU. And so Remy was a student athlete under head coach Blake Flickner for 2 years during the 2012-13 season, and also the 13-14 season, transferred in from a school out of Oklahoma. And so played 2 seasons for us. Just to share a few stats for our viewers and our listeners, Remy has the second most rebounds per game in a single season in school history. Fourth most rebounds in a single season in school history, ranks fourth all-time in career rebounds, fourth all-time in career defensive rebounds. So to sum all that up, you are a rebounding machine.
Right. I talk about my teammates and stuff like that. And since I stepped in there at DBU, when I spoke with Coach Blake, everyone had a role, and we had scorers, we had everybody with their own role, and I wasn't worried too much about the scoring because I knew that we had some guys who can do that better than me. So like my main role was just to rebound, screen, and
go get it.
Right. So
go get that rebound.
Yes, sir. And there was a role that I really liked, and and Coach Flick was okay with that too.
Yeah, well, you certainly made your mark on our program of going getting the ball off the rim or off the glass. And Remy, you've got a remarkable and inspiring story. I get the chills each time that I think about it or talk about it or tell friends or family or loved ones about you and your story. If you wouldn't mind, maybe kind of sharing your background, tell our viewers just about your story, being from Dakar, Senegal, making your way over to the United States, eventually landing at DBU, and then now maybe what you're doing with the 76ers. But if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about your background.
Right. I was originally born in Dakar, Senegal, and I with 2 older brothers and 3 older sisters, and basketball was my passion. Even though I started with soccer, but basketball was the passion, and I went to Seed Academy, which is in Senegal, for 3 years before I came to the U.S. at the prep school at Lake Forest Academy, which was a little bit hard, leaving the family, being the youngest in the family, leaving them behind, and you're on your own here, which was a little bit tough in the beginning. But years later, I started adjusting, and especially with the weather, which was a little bit hard. But I went to a junior college in Northern Oklahoma College, and that's where Coach Curran recruited me to come to Dallas Baptist, and it was 2012, and I spent like 2 years there with Coach Flickner, and in 2014, after graduation, I went in Rwanda for a year, where I spent 8 months playing, organizing some camps and building courts, and play there at the same time. Semi-professional league there for a year, and which was one of my best experiences, because it's like opened up my eyes and grow faithfully while I was there, and in 2 years. And a year after that, I came back to finish my master's at Dallas Baptist, which I really love, and really thankful that you guys gave me the opportunity to come back and be with the team for 2 more years.
Oh, well, I'm glad you did. I mean, it was obviously the Lord opening doors for you to be at DBU. Your involvement, we'll get into that here in just a minute with the program with the NBA. But then you coming back, I mean, the relationship that we built with you on campus, knowing your story, Remy, you're one of the most humble and sincere and gracious, nice men that I've had the pleasure of meeting. And we grew a friendship,
Sure.
and several of us consider you as extended family, and so just know how proud of you we are, and just your story is inspiring. Coming from Africa, in your homeland, growing up playing basketball, and then taking the leap of faith and coming over to the States and chasing a dream and pursuing a dream, and now you're in Philadelphia working for the Philadelphia 76ers. In player development and getting to do some really neat things and impacting lives just by who you are as a person, basketball aside. I know that we've had conversations about some relationships and friendships you developed with players in the league, players on the 76ers, and there's no doubt that you've had an impact on their life and maybe their family's life as well. You hit a little bit on it earlier. Tell us about that program with the NBA and maybe some of your work there in Africa and kind of growing the game of basketball.
Right. So after I graduated, I was trying to figure out what was the next step, either keep playing or just trying to give back to my continent. And the Shooting Touch program, sponsored by the NBA, sent me to Rwanda for 1 year, and which was really one of my best timing. And because going back there, seeing the kids, and because I thought that coming from Senegal with the economy not as good as other countries, and when I went to Rwanda, things were below that. Like, things weren't like the same as Senegal, and that opened up my eyes, saying, what's going on in Senegal is I don't want to say much better than here, but the things, the kids don't have the same opportunity that the other kids have there, and that kind of helped me help those kids and do that with love, with my heart. And that was it was one of the toughest experience, leaving those kids and coming back. So that kind of built up from there. And then I went to Senegal, ran some camps there, and tried to bring some NBA players there to just so they can see what is Senegal is about, or just like what's Africa is about. And I'm still gonna do that, and just to help build up more in my continent.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, just using the game of basketball as a platform to not only grow the game, but to make a difference in the lives of young people. We've spoken about, several NBA players and those that probably most would know of that you've had the relationship with since you were a little kid, and telling me their stories and how they've developed. And I'm sure that's a special time for you to get to go back to your hometown and other places in Africa to see old relationships and help grow the game where you grew up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm very, very thankful for everybody at DBU, and especially the athletic department, that gave me the opportunity to get to the point, even though I kind of missed that. But 2 years, 2000, when I got there, 2017 to from 15 to 17, when I just started my master's, Coach Fleet gave me the opportunity to go do the internship over summer at the NBA Summer League. That's where it all started. And over the summer, I could have stayed and worked out with the guys, but I chatted with Coach, and he gave me the opportunity to give me 10 days just to go to Las Vegas to attend the NBA Summer League, and that's where it all started. That's where I met people from the 76ers, and from there, that's where I started my internship in 17, and then that what got me to be a play development specialist today.
That's awesome. The ripple effect. Let's hit on that. One of the last questions that I've got for you, Remy, to talk a little bit about the impact that DBU and the head coaches and any other staff. I mean, just the impact that DBU and your time at DBU had on your life.
Yes, it's everybody. They asked me in Senegal, like, what brought you to where you're at right now, and how did you get there physically, mentally, and all that. And I tell them it's just when I stepped on the DBU campus, just seeing the international office there, first of all, just like making me feel like I'm home. And that was huge. That was huge for me to start with, and just getting to meet everybody, and everyone welcomed me. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't, and I just saw that, and that just kind of like kept me believing that, hey, this is the right place to be. And from there, it. I learned from that, and I faithfully grew mentally and everything. And that was a major key for me to understand that, this was the right place, and everything could start good from there. And I've learned that, and I've been very thankful for that. So for me to get there.
Yeah. Well, while DBU has had an impact in your life and, the lives of so many, including myself as a former student athlete, I think you've also had an impact on our lives just by the way you carry yourself and the way that you lead through just your humble spirit and just the leader that you are, both on and off the basketball floor, as a rebound animal.
Man, God, I didn't want to miss that point, but it's not just on the court, but it's just, you realize how just coaches, teachers, staff member, even you get to a security guard who works at DBU, it's just how much they care about you. It's everything. And I don't think you can find that anywhere else. It's just how people care about you, what people teach you, even though you don't know, and how they are willing to listen to what you're going to say was a major. It blew my mind when I got there, and you know what I mean. But what everyone is willing to do for you, I don't get tired of telling the story that we had between you and me going to Chile, and me not being able to go, and you and your wife stayed, and that's the story I tell my family, tell my friends. It's just how we build up our relationship and everything, and how thankful I am to for that action. And that's something that I'll never forget. And I always say that, and I will keep saying that. And that's the thing that's DBU about. It's just how they care about their students, their athlete, the student athlete, and everybody. And that's something that I really loved, and that I cannot, get off my head.
Well, I'd do it 1,000 more times if I had the opportunity to do it, even though in that moment, traveling to Chile, we had, some passport things come up because of you being a citizen of your country. And so we stayed back for a day while the team went on to Chile and ended up getting there. But that's a story, as you mentioned, we'll have to tell for the rest of our lives.
Sure.
Maybe in closing, one final question. So looking back, time flies. And, it was probably at times you think, hey, I was just on the DBU campus last year, or maybe sometimes it feels like not so long ago. In that light, what advice would you have to offer to college students in general, student athletes, maybe that's on the basketball team, but just any advice you'd have to offer to young people? Maybe they're considering DBU as an option. What advice in general would you have to give them, just because of how fast it goes by?
Well, I think about that every day. Just thinking about student athletes. I mean, all students in general at Dallas Baptist. You just keep believing, and because I know for certain students, it's just like it's hard, especially when it gets to the point of graduation, without knowing what's going on, what's going to come afterward, or just like, panicking. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I don't know, what's going to happen, or I need to do this, I need to do that. It's just like, my best advice is just like to have faith and believe that everything's gonna be fine. And since like, especially coming from that university and growing your faith and being around people who care about you and learning everything from there, it's just it helps you get ready no matter what comes after. And that's what I would tell to all the students out there. Just believe, and God has planned for you, already set up for you. And it can be down the road, it can be right after you graduate, but just don't ever, just don't like get hard on yourself. Just believe that God has planned for you. And that's what I would like to share with everybody else in there. So
That's so good, Remy. Thank you for sharing that. Well, you're certainly a testament to belief and an inspiration to all of us. And like I said, we're so proud of you. And I know we all collectively, I speak for everybody, when we want nothing but the best for you and all of our DBU alumni. And thank you so much for joining us on this first edition of Patriot Conversations, brought to you by Raising Cane's. It's been an honor and a privilege to spend some time with you today. And Remy, man, keep on keeping on and keep the faith. And we're all gonna be on the other side of this sooner rather than later. And we're praying for you. We love you, brother.
thank you, Connor. Thank you so much for having me, and looking forward to come back on campus and visit. And I miss Dallas. I miss everything about DBU. So I'm really looking forward to come back. And thank you so much for having me.